Hi, and welcome to HomWork Live. This is Desiree Dubois, founder of HomWork, where you can live where you work where you live, anywhere in the world. And what we're doing is that we're acquiring luxury style homes and building out the bedrooms to be live work suites for women to live there full time, part time, or as a drop in. And so today I have the pleasure of speaking with Cecilia Mota, who is a women's empowerment advocate, and she also is the host of Believe in You radio shows, Latino Radio. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Desiree. Thank you for having me back
You're
so that
welcome.
people can see my face this time.
I know we tried the other day, but that's technology for you. But happy New Year! I'm glad that you're able to make it because your message was so powerful. I really wanted people to really be able to not only hear it, but to be able to see where it was coming from. And we've been friends for a very long time. And I called you the other day before holidays, and the first thing you said is that I'm so tired of working alone, and that hit the core with me. That's exactly what I felt a year ago when we created Homework. So tell us about yourself, what you've been doing for women and advocating for women, what women's empowerment is, and then also what led you to that statement.
Well, I've had a fantastic year. Last year was my first time doing online radio. I hosted one show, then I got my own show, which is called Believe in You on RadioLatinoInc.com, which is an online radio station women owned for many years. Even before I met you, I think when you met me, I was the national president of the National Latina Businesswomen Association and had been in the women empowerment space for a few years before that. And since then have been involved in numerous projects involving, women empowerment and women education. And now on this new phase, of course, I'm also launching my own platforms under my own brand so that I can continue to share, what I've learned over the years. And when you called me that day and I was diving deep like I do every holiday, I do a lot of strategizing. I was feeling isolated. I was feeling lonely, and I hadn't spoken or seen some of my friends that I tend to chat, my business mastermind with. And you caught me right at that moment. And when I said, I'm so tired of working alone, which it resonates exactly with your business model. You perfectly understand that because you were also, a mom of two boys, and I'm a single mom of two children as well that I've been raising for the last 9 years. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I also wanted to show up exactly how I work as a solopreneur. This is my PJ outfit. This is, the PJ CEO outfit. Comfort. We work in comfort clothes when we work from home. And that's why I so much love your concept.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Again, for that. I think this is like, a lot of people don't realize that, according to Fortune magazine, chronic loneliness is a modern day epidemic. That humans were not meant to live or work in solitary. And then the alarming new research that's found in social information is that it's social isolation is more deadly than obesity. And it also increases a person's chance for premature death by 14% and nearly doubles the risk of early death than differs from obesity. Someone compared it to as equivalent to smoking 14 cigarettes a day. And that's huge. And, I've always worked from home, but I never felt alone until I became an empty nester. I had the two boys, and they all of a sudden they moved in and it was quiet, which is what I was yearning for many years. And then I didn't want that quiet. I wanted to be around people. I wanted to be, and my staff used to work from home with me. I had home offices, and I just enjoyed not only the collaboration, but the company and the energy that goes beyond that. You can always pick ideas about. And so I thought, well, I always want to work from home. I do want to live there, but I don't want the maintenance or the management of a home right now for myself. So it'd be nice to have 2 or 3 other women, business women, that were like-minded to be able to share the space with. Gives me more freedom, flexibility, and then again, a lot of us travel. A lot of us travel outside the area, travel in hotels, and this is much better than a hotel opportunity. So for you, why do you think women work alone, work from home, work alone anyway? Initially, what's usually the reason?
Well, initially is because like all solopreneurs, everything is, tends to be born from your kitchen table or brainstorming with someone over a napkin, in a cafe or something. And you just do, you go at it, you're grinding it, and you're not thinking too much about it. You're building your team. When you get to that point, then you realize that you need help. I was just having that conversation right before we got on the call with another colleague that we're actually, let me just share with this, we we are actually looking at pulling in our resources to rent like a co-working access to a co-working space in downtown LA, because I have a very busy first quarter and I'm looking for something that accommodates my budget. And I found a space that has like 4 different locations only in California. And I thought, oh, I can do this. But the challenge is that sometimes I have to meet people in hotel lobbies or in coffees. Like, I don't do the Starbucks thing because it's too loud. There's never a guarantee that you're going to find a place. But I just think that is that we start, we're dreamers. We start with an idea, and then we just kind of get stuck and don't think outside of that box on how can I be more productive, because you do become a little bit less productive when you are by yourself, because there's a lot of interruptions. So I think that that's the main thing is once you become aware of it, it's like, what do you do about it?
You talked about some of the, let's clarify the advantages then and the disadvantages. So the advantages of working from home is, of course, we don't have the parking, the gas, the additional expense, and having to get dressed every day to go, sit in front of the computer, and of those distractions. What are some of the advantages?
Well, the advantages of working from home, you mean?
Yes.
That, like you said, no parking, no driving, working comfortably like I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is accessible. I have children. I have to pick up, my daughter from school or take my son to college or whatever the case may be. However, you do have a lot of interruptions. You're easily accessible to family. I have a little puppy also that I have to worry about, keeping her away. Like right now, I hear in the background, I don't know if people can hear, the gardener is here. No. So those are some of those things. It's a constant interruption, and it's so easy to just get off track and say, oh, you know what, let me just throw in that load of laundry, or there's always something. And those are some of the challenges of working from home. Isolation, to me, being one of them, distractions, and people not respecting your time, most definitely another one.
So you talked about you can be more successful sometimes if you have a very controlled environment, whether it's controlling your own home or control with other people. Tell us about some of the things that you think contribute to that.
Being successful in your own environment is definitely having discipline. You have to have systems in place. I like to set up meetings outside of the home with friends. That's what I was trying to do this morning. And attending events so that you're not always in the same environment. It's almost like when you're raising babies, the first few years is all baby talk. And a lot of your friends is baby talk or friends with babies. So you realize that you're just doing baby and diaper talk, and that you need a life. So aside, outside of that family life and the mom life. So you have to go out there and you have to network, you have to be visible, make connections to grow your business. That's really the only way. You're not going to do it necessarily from home unless you're really a digital marketer 100% of the time, but you do have to build face-to-face relationships.
I think you're absolutely right. Part of being successful is being organized. And so having all that you need wherever you need it. And in our homes, we're going to have the dining rooms that convert to conference rooms. So if you do need to have a meeting or conference there, you have that privacy and you have the technology to do so. But also the living rooms will be able to convert to meeting rooms. So if you have a meeting that's between 10 and 20 people, you're able to schedule that, not having to go outside to do that. We'll have fax machines and copy machines so that those business necessities are there. But in addition to that, also is that focus, being able to focus on what you're doing. And that's a discipline. But those of us like myself who's always been doing it, it's easier. But, there's always, those times when we're not so focused. But also the accountability. I think if you're in a home with other women that are working, you're more inclined to follow that model. So if women are the other business women that are already following great business practices during the day, so you can be more focused. But just having that stimuli, for me, having that stimuli and that access to brainstorming and masterminding and so forth with other business women, it will contribute to success. And then not having to move around a lot.
Yes, relative to your business model, which I absolutely love, because I share with you, one of my dreams was always to have, like, live in a home with a bunch of other women, and then, voila, you're making this come to life. Is that when you are more productive? When I was running another nonprofit and I had a staff and I had a great assistant, I was so much more productive. But it also had to do with her temperament. I had the right person. She was always positive and happy. And I can't stress that enough. It's like, surround yourself with the right people. You cannot be with naysayers. It's like, don't listen to family, negative friends and their drama, because that will drag you down. Even if it's 5-10 minutes out of your day, even those things you have to plan out. It's like, okay, do I have time to deal with this, which may end up throwing my day, and I may end up being that person's psychologist, therapist. But
Yes.
even then, you have to be very strategic with the people that you're going to give your time. And here's the other thing that I also find is that I've noticed, even I'm paying more attention to it. When people know you work from your home, sometimes they just call you. They
Right.
don't even set up an appointment. They assuming that you're just going to pick up the phone when you have meetings, you have conference calls, or you're focused on something. So that's another disadvantage, a great disadvantage of working from home, is the fact that, again, people thinking that you are just readily accessible. But, your business model, I love that, because being with women or surrounded by other colleagues that you can interact with and exchange ideas, or if you're stuck, or even just show something. Because I tend to see that, like, in Facebook groups, where I belong to a lot of groups where they're mastermind groups, and the women are sharing, what do you think of this book cover? What do you think of this logo? What do you think of this tagline? And that's the benefit of having a community around you that can support you, and you can support them.
Yes, because there's definitely a time and a place for everything. And just one last thing before we close is that, some of the other options for those who are not able to take advantage of homework or want some options, you mentioned masterminds. So there's masterminds, there's brainstorming events. What are some of the other ones that you can think of right off the bat?
Well,
You know,
masterminding is a powerful one. Setting up,
Mhm.
weekly meetings or brainstorming sessions with other colleagues is another. You can also work, like I did years ago, with, like you and I are doing. There's different platforms that you can use where you're online together, and
Mhm.
you're working, each other working, but you're looking at each other, and you're able to right there and there interact with one another. So it's like you are live with someone, but each one of us is doing our work. So that's another one. Networking events. I love going to conferences where I know they're going to be like-minded women, and that I also handpick what conferences I'm going to attend,
Mhm.
whether I want to attend certain tracks because it's going to benefit me, or because I want to get to meet some individuals, or have access to, to that market. So there's meetups is another way. Meetups is a very powerful way for people to connect.
Well, thank you for your time and for expressing such a feeling that resonates with so many of us. I want to thank our audience for listening to us today. For more information, contact Cecilia. It'll be in the description, so you'll be able to contact her at her Believe in You Radio, as well as her other contact LinkedIn information. And then for us, feel free to go to HomWork HomWork.com. At this time, it's where you can live where you work where you live, anywhere in the world. But feel free to subscribe to us, join us on our community, subscribe to our YouTube. We're looking for people to participate this year. So if you know of anyone that have homes or the investors or talent, please refer them our way, because we really appreciate we want to grow this now. So thank you, Cecilia. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you, audience. And remember, live where you work where you live, anywhere in the world. Until then, take care.
Thank you. That's all right. Until next time.
Until next time, join us next Tuesday at noon.